Well, it was clearly the day of breaking one's silence, and Narendra Modi broke his today as well over the hate speeches of senior party leader Giriraj Singh, who has incidentally just now been banned by the Election Commission from holding rallies in Jharkhand, as well as VHP leader Praveen Togadia. Now, in a series of tweets this morning, without taking any names, Mr. Modi called the statements irresponsible and petty. But the opposition says he needs to say and do much more.
After days of outrage over BJP's Nevada candidate Giriraj Singh and VHP leader Praveen Togadia's hate speeches, BJP's prime ministerial candidate finally broke his silence on Twitter today, saying petty statements by those claiming to be BJP's well-wishers are deviating the campaign from the issues of development and good governance. I disapprove of any such irresponsible statement. I appeal to those making them to kindly refrain from doing so. Entire nation looking towards BJP for going to people solely on issues of good governance and development. Modi's tweets on Giriraj and Togadia were seen by critics as too mild, referring to the hate speeches as petty statements.
The development is good governance. That is why you have such fantastic statements like that of Mr. Giriraj, like that of Mr. Praveen Togadia. Why does Modi not expel Mr. Giriraj Singh? These crocodile tears, these Noora Kushti friendly matches will not do.
While the likes of Giriraj and Togadia are accused by the Congress of promoting Narendra Modi's Hindutva agenda as he talks of development, the irony is that Togadia and Modi are far from allies. Till 2002, both Mr. Narendra Modi and Mr. Praveen Togadia were seen as strong Hindutva forces, leading together the rapid rise of BJP in the state. But with Mr. Modi embarking on the mission image makeover, somewhere down the line he started veering away from more hardline Praveen Togadia, causing strains in their relationship. With Bureau Inputs in Ahmedabad, Rohit Ban for NDTV.
Well, it seems to be the season of making controversial and some would say outright stupid statements in this election campaign. Now, a controversial new video has emerged for the Aam Aadmi Party's Shazia Ilmi, where you can hear her very clearly telling Muslim leaders to support her party. And then she goes on to say that Muslims need to be less secular and should become a bit communal for their own good. Now, Shazia has defended that comment as well, but let's listen to first what she said. A comment that has been disowned by her party, the AAP, which says it does not approve of what she said, and then her defense.
मैं तो उल्टा कहती हूँ, मैं कहती हूँ मुसलमान बहुत सेक्युलर है और मुसलमानों को कम्युनल होना पड़ेगा पहली बार. मुसलमान कम्युनल नहीं है, अपनों को नहीं देता है वोट. अरविंद केजरीवाल आपके अपने हैं, हम तो कह रहे हैं सेक्युलर बहुत हो गया मुसलमान. आप कांग्रेस को जिता रहे हैं, किसी और को आपका नुकसान कर रही है. आप लोग कितने सेक्युलर ना हुई है, आप अपने घर का देखिए इस बार. ना हुई इतने सेक्युलर. मुसलमान सेक्युलर है, देता रहता है औरों को वोट. बाकी पार्टियां तो नहीं करती, उनका तो बंधा हुआ वोट है. हम लोग का वोट बिखरता रहता है.
Don't be too, when I tell somebody, don't be too smart. It's not that I'm trying to tell them don't be smart, that to be foolish. Somebody was saying that Muslims are very, very communal. So I was saying Muslims are not communal. Muslims are in fact very secular. They need to be communal. As in, communal does not mean to incite hatred, but they must think of themselves.
Well, I really didn't understand that defense, but, I'm going to take this to the panel tonight. Shahid Siddiqui, to you first. You've heard what, Shazia Ilmi said there and her rather strange defense, her own party distancing itself from this. But, on this issue of these statements made by Giriraj Singh and Praveen Togadia as well. So yesterday we were asking why Mr. Modi wasn't even tweeting about it or saying anything. He finally did so. But there's a lot of criticism today that he wasn't strong enough, that the language used was mild to dismiss them as petty and irresponsible statements, just didn't go far enough. Would you agree with that, or would you say that given the sort of situation he's in, it is the best that he could have said at the moment?
Yes, I agree that the language should have been much stronger, but in this kind of political situation, you can't expect much from the political leaders of any party. Secondly, it is very clear that these people are trying to trap Narendra Modi into a Hindutva hardline kind of situation, because many of them are not very happy with his rise within the party and outside the party. As coming to Shazia Ilmi has not made a communal, statement. She has made a very foolish and confusing statement, because on the one hand she says Muslims should vote for should become more communal, and then she says, "Apno ko vote kijiye, Kejriwal ko vote kijiye." Now, is she saying Kejriwal is a Muslim, or is what is she trying to say? So it's an extremely confusing statement. So it should not be taken as a hate statement or a statement asking for Muslims to vote one way or the other. But I really do not appreciate and support this kind of line by anybody, any political leader, including Shazia.
When you say that there is an attempt to try and trap Modi into hardline Hindutva, maybe by people in his own party, which is a theory that many others share, wouldn't then it actually have been easier for Mr. Modi to have come out with a stronger condemnation of this and said, you know, not just said it's petty and irresponsible, because this is way beyond petty, isn't it, Mr. Siddiqui?
Yes, it is. It is way beyond petty, because it is an attack on the very basis our democracy, our constitution, and our whole society is based on. Whether Togadia's statement or Giriraj Singh's statement, it's an attack on Indian democracy. But Mr. Modi could have made a stronger statement, but there's a dilemma. He can't move too much away from the Hindutva ideology, and he can't go along with it. So he is the contradiction is within the BJP, which is trying to, or within Narendra Modi's position, he is trying to move away from the traditional BJP line, but at the same time he wants to carry on the remnants of the old party.
Okay, so then,
new parties emerging, it's very obvious.
Yes, and so based on what you said, Pawan Verma, then to say that this campaign is based solely on development and governance, as Mr. Modi tweeted today, does that hold? Because does the BJP then needs to make up its mind what it is and what this campaign is about?
Nidhi, we have always maintained that while Mr. Modi has projected governance and development as the primary goals, the real agenda of the Modi under him continues to be to pursue the Hindutva agenda. And it is partly because of that we have never ever seen an election which has become so polarized on religious grounds. In fact, I am surprised at even the mild level of admonition issued by Mr. Modi. Mr. Giriraj Singh in Bihar was the biggest proponent of Mr. Modi, even at a time when Mr. Modi was not figuring anywhere in Bihar and the BJP and the JDU were together. Mr. Giriraj Singh was the exponent of Mr. Modi. He is close to him. And the real reason why he has made that statement is because he now feels empowered and emboldened under Mr. Modi's leadership to make that statement. As far as Mr. Togadia is concerned, he and Mr. Modi may have fallen apart, but they are part of the same family. It's a quarrel within a family. It's not a repudiation of Mr. Togadia's mindset. Therefore, I say to you, in the heat of the elections, inadvertently even, or beyond control, the facade is peeling away and the reality is coming to the fore.
Okay, you're saying it's a facade. Pinky Anand, I'll take that to you.
You know, I don't understand. Mr. Giriraj Singh's statement was condemned by the president of the party, Mr. Rajnath Singh. At that point, in fact, the only controversy which was being raised was why is Mr. Modi not denying or deprecating the statement. Yeah. So now Mr. Modi has made a statement which you may agree should be a little stronger or lesser. That may be a subject matter of some discussion. But the fact is that the statements have been condemned of Mr. Giriraj Singh. Now, if that is the position, Giriraj Singh stands condemned by the president of the party. The statement stands condemned by Mr. Modi's maybe mild version, but it stands condemned. That is the end of the matter as far as any issue is concerned. The question of what should have been, should not have been is really not the issue. As far as Mr. Togadia's statement is concerned, he is not the BJP. There is no question about it. Now, Pawan Verma himself says, and rightly so, that there is complete dispute between, and they are totally on different ends of the spectrum as far as Mr. Togadia is concerned and Mr. Modi is concerned.
Then why not name him?
No, question is, why name him? Why not name him is not the issue. The question is, everybody knows what Mr. Modi is saying. The tweet obviously represents very clearly the condemnation of these two statements. If it does so, I don't think what further remains to be discussed in the matter.
Was it a condemnation or like a little rap on the
You
wrist?
say rap on the head, condemnation, there are only degrees of condemnation. Ultimately, a rap on the head is also condemnation of sorts. You may agree with the levels, but I don't think the point is the message. The message goes that these statements are not being appreciated. The message goes that the statements by Giriraj Singh and Togadia are not being appreciated and being made by Mr. Modi. Whether Mr. Modi, please understand, this is election time, and what do you expect? There's going to be complete, rapping on the knuckles of what kind of situation would like expelling of people from the parties. I mean, that is not going to happen at this point.
We were all saying Imran Masood should have been expelled.
No, the question is not that.
When your goal is development, when your goal is governance,
why you have asked for a statement from Mr. Modi has given it.
Oh, so we should be satisfied with that. Pawan Verma, quickly, yes, then to Kumar Ketkar.
Then I'm just saying that if your goal is development and governance, and if such outrageous statements are made which undermine these goals completely, which divide the nation on the grounds of religion in this dramatic, inflammatory manner, why can't this new apostle of governance and development take a strong stand instead of calling them irresponsible? What can we expect? At the least an expulsion, and at the least to say to Mr. Togadia that people like you have no place in a civilized nation and certainly no place in the Sangh Parivar. But the organization that Mr. Togadia represents is an ally of Mr. Modi.
No, but the question is,
part of the Sangh Parivar.
Ally or not ally, Mr. Togadia is not at one with Mr. Modi. So whatever statement Mr. Togadia makes, which today Mr. Modi has said is petty and irresponsible, you can hardly say that, there is any unanimity of thought or process between Mr. Togadia and Mr. Modi, A. And B, to try to take this argument is rather innovative on your part to say if development is the agenda, then anything else should be condemned. This is election time, Mr. Togadia, Mr. Pawan Verma, I'm so sorry. And you have Shahid making the statement. I think it stands for far more logic than anything else. You have election time, you condemn a statement, you say it is bad, the president of the party says it's bad, you're not satisfied, you say Mr. Modi must make it. Mr. Modi makes it. Somewhere down the line this debate has to end.
Okay, but Kumar Ketkar, is there also a sense that because Mr. Modi is trying to put, his Achilles heel, 2002 behind him, the way Robert Vadra is the Achilles heel of Priyanka Gandhi, I'm saying that 2002 is to Mr. Modi, that in a sense he has more to prove in terms of, publicly distancing himself from the lunatic fringe, from these fringe groups and elements, that he needs to perhaps make stronger statements distancing himself from that group.
But Nidhi, you must understand that this so-called lunatic fringe, that fringe has brought him to this level of prime ministerial candidature. There are so many alter egos of Narendra Modi. Pravin Togadia is just one, Giriraj is another, Mohan Bhagwat is third. There are all these alter egos, or you can say they are all alter egos of the original deity called
even
RSS.
Shankar Singh Waghela.
If you, of course Shankar Singh Waghela also maybe, but the point is, if you actually place and show to your viewers for their benefit these speeches made by Togadia and Modi from the same stage in 2007, in 2002 and even sometimes in 2009 when they partly broke away from each other, you will find that Togadia is not talking anything different than what Narendra Modi was talking in 2002 and 2007. But in 2009, when the BJP lost election miserably and Congress got 206, then BJP realized that Hindutva campaign does not pay. And therefore, they decided to harp on this development agenda. Till 2009 election, development was not the agenda of Narendra Modi. The agenda was same. If you hear their violent speeches made by Modi, Togadia and Giriraj and many others and Ashok Singhal and many others, and they were the most communally fascistic, vicious and violent language. Now you just play that. You just play that and today's speeches of Togadia and you'll find that they all belong to the same. They all belong to the same. They all belong to the same vicious, fascistic communal tribe, and now Narendra Modi has to mildly so-called distance himself, because Togadia and Modi have distanced themselves internally in their internal party circuit, but VHP, Bajrang Dal, ABVP, BHP's so-called hardliners are all together. The basic agenda is Hindutva agenda. Development and growth is a camouflage. And unless people realize this, that development and growth is camouflage, the original identity of RSS and the BJP and Narendra Modi is hardline Hindutva. In London, economist understands that.
Okay,
London
okay.
economist
You're calling
understands
it a
that, and our
camouflage.
people don't understand.
But Shahid Siddiqui, Kumar Ketkar calls it a camouflage. You're saying, are you saying that there is a genuine attempt by Mr. Modi to move away from the Hindutva hardliners and to focus on governance and development?
I don't know what is in his heart and mind. But what I can see is that a lot of upheaval is taking place in the BJP, as we have seen in many parties in the world all over. In Chinese Communist Party, from Mao to Deng, in the Russian Soviet Communist Party, from Lenin to Stalin to Gorbachev and Yeltsin, changes have taken place all over the world. If you go on judging a present party by what has happened in the party in last 60, 50 years, then you don't allow any change to take place anywhere. Ideological changes take place, strategic changes take place, political changes take place, leadership changes take place, and that is what is happening in BJP. How much Mr. Modi is genuine, how much Mr. Rajnath Singh is genuine, that is for the future to tell us. But what we can see is that there is a struggle within the party between the old guards and the new guards, between those who want to go for development and those who want to go for Hindutva, those who wanted to turn BJP into a centrist party, then those who wanted BJP into a rightist party. So BJP is trying to turn itself into a centrist party, an alternative to Congress.
There is no generational change in 5 years. There is no generational change in 5 years. In 2007 and 2009, Modi was speaking the same language that Togadia is speaking today. In 5 years, there is no difference between Lenin and Gorbachev.
What is the point of this exercise?
No time Lenin and Gorbachev. That is 70 years.
You have a change.
Gorbachev 70 years take place in a generation. Change does not take place in a generation. It can take place in few years.
No, but Shahid Siddiqui, does Mr. Modi, according to you, then represent that shift to, towards governance development genuinely? Or as Kumar Ketkar is saying, it doesn't?
No, he is the symbol of that change. And somebody has to be symbol. In any party, when this kind of change takes place, a certain individual is taken as a symbol. So he has become the icon of that change, because they tried to change this with Advani ji also. They wanted to turn BJP into a centrist party, into a not a right-wing party, not into a very communal party. They wanted to come back. They have been trying it with Atalji onwards. So, but because Atalji went out, Advani took over, Advani tried to change himself. But party has been trying to change.
But Atalji was opposed. Atalji belonged to another generation.
But let me tell you, Mr.
Atalji belonged to another generation. Atalji was opposed to Modi and Togadia. Atalji was opposed.
It's not a question of age.
15 years ago, Atalji,
it's a question of ideology. It's a question of ideology.
15 years ago, Atalji was talking development.
Change doesn't come only with young people.
Okay,
so
Atalji was old and he represented future for BJP.
One second. We've seen the BJP go through many changes. And Mr. Verma, would you concede Shahid Siddiqui's point that there is a churning going on within the party? And it actually, when you look at the BJP's manifesto, for example, you can see that it's reflected there. Today, the Ram Temple is one line on page 41. It's not front and center for the BJP at all. And generally, the language that's been spoken by Mr. Modi largely is focused on governance and development issues. Of course, it's another story that his aides like Amit Shah have spoken a different language in UP. What do you make of that?
Nidhi, when your strategy, please distinguish a change of thinking as against a chosen strategy for short-term electoral gain. When your strategy is to project governance and development, while your real agenda remains that of consolidating votes on the basis of a religious polarization, which is Hindutva, then the contradiction keeps showing up. Then you share a stage when those accused of inciting communal tension are being felicitated. Then your past speeches very recently in the last few years of Hum Panch, Hum Pachis haunts you. When you are on the stage when another leader of an ally party hits out against another community. It constantly shows. Now the question is whether this is representative of a real change. I have always believed, Nidhi, that the only real attempt at change was under Mr. Vajpayee, who genuinely thought that for electoral reasons, the BJP must broad base its appeal and appeal to a greater cross-section of the many strands of this nation. Today we have found that that thinking has received a setback, and that is what has emboldened and empowered people like Mr. Giriraj Singh to use this kind of inflammatory language.
Well, I think the jury is out. Is it a deliberate strategy, or is it, as Shahid Siddiqui says, an internal struggle that the BJP is currently going through within the Parivar with different strands of thought? The jury is out on that one, but it continues to be an important debate that we confront in this general election. Thank you very much to all of you for joining us on our political debates tonight. We'll be back tomorrow night on the show with much more. Do join us then.